Hello, my name is Chantal Robinson, and I will be talking to you today about Marcia's stages of adolescent identity development. What does true identity look like? Well, for James Marcia, identity achievement is when an individual has conquered facing a challenge or a crisis and is capable of making commitments. In other words, you have a well-defined person who is confident with his or her own values and principles and who has set goals for himself to succeed in life. This individual is ready to embark into adulthood and the real life. But before one can achieve true identity, what do adolescents have to experience? Well, according to James Marcia, there are four identity phases, or as Marcia defines it, stages that an adolescent must progress through or experience to achieve this true identity. Marcia believed, like Erikson, that events or crises are what drive the different stages of identity development and that youth may find themselves moving back and forth between these stages until they've reached their true identity. Because people's experiences are unique to them, Marcia's theory suggests that not all adolescents will experience the sequence of the four identity statues, and furthermore, youth may have different identity statues in different areas of their life, such as work, religion, and school. Marcia proposed four unique statues or stages of adolescent development. They are as follows: identity diffusion, identity foreclosure, identity moratorium, and identity achievement. Let's look at them a little more closely. The first stage, identity diffusion, is represented by a low level of exploration and a low level of commitment. Here, the young person has not explored or committed to any particular identity. They are what we call reactive. They deal with life situations as they occur day by day. Their main motivation is having fun. They have not considered their identity or life goals. They do not have ambition, and they have no clue what to do with their life. The danger in this stage is that adolescents are vulnerable to negative influences and may become socially isolated and withdrawn. An example of identity diffusion is the teenager who is about to graduate and has not considered his options for a career. No thought has gone into thinking about colleges or technical schools or seeking advice from a career advisor. This individual is content with a minimum wage job, sees no value in responsibility, depends on family and others to support them. The famous question parents ask, "What do you want to do with your life?" The teenager in identity diffusion will answer, "I don't know." The second stage, identity foreclosure, is represented by a low degree of exploration and a high degree of commitment. In this instance, the question, "What do I want to be when I grow up?" is not really an option, because the individual is funneled into a predetermined identity. In other words, that person has obtained their identity by accepting the beliefs and values assigned to them by their family, culture, and community. The person has not chosen his or her own path. Rather, they assume that this is the path that they are to take, and so they commit to it. They do not consider any alternatives or question if this is really what they want to do in life. An example of this is a son who becomes a doctor because there have been 3 generations of doctors in his family, and that is just what is expected of him. The third stage, identity moratorium, is represented by a high degree of exploration and a low degree of commitment. Youth here are in the midst of an identity crisis. This crisis has caused them to explore all their options and experiment a lot with the different values and beliefs. Because they are not sure of what they believe and want, they make no commitments. They keep their options open. The individual is exploring and considering values and principles he wants to live by. And because everyone is unique in how they face a challenge, this phase may continue into young adulthood. An example of identity moratorium would be something like a 15-year-old son who is working in the family business since 12 years old and argues with his parents that he does not want to continue the family business and wants to pursue studies in sociology. Although he's not clear of what he wants to do with such a degree, he is exploring and considering what values and principles he wants to live by. The fourth stage, identity achievement, is characterized by a high degree of exploration and a high degree of commitment. Here, the individuals have experienced a crisis, undergone identity explorations, and made commitments, from diffusion through moratorium to identity achievement. The individual in identity achievement has decided what values, principles, and goals are important to them. They have looked at all their options. They feel confident and positive about their decisions and values. They can prioritize what's important, they have decided on a goal, and they have thought through who they want to be. An example of identity achievement is a young lady named Mary. She decided that her goal in life was to become a doctor so that she could help those people who did not have access to Medicare. Her belief and values to provide health care for everyone was ignited when she did a school project on healthcare issues in the world. This career became the driving force for her goal, which was a reflection of her beliefs and values. Understanding Marcia's theory of adolescent development can help teachers better understand what teens are experiencing and help them as they progress through the stages of development. What can teachers do to help students? Teachers need to be cautious not to get into stereotype perceptions of adolescents, as to not hinder them in their developmental process. To create a safe environment for students to communicate with their teacher. If students feel safe, they'll most probably be able to express what it is that they're feeling. And to treat them as adults. Treating them as young adults will help them to behave as young adults and thus make mature decisions which will help them in their process in their developmental stages. To summarize Marcia's theory of adolescent identity development, youth need to experience crisis for identity development to take its course. These processes occur in stages that involve identity exploration and the ability to make commitments. Marcia described these stages of development as diffusion, foreclosure, moratorium, to finally true identity achievement.